can say to that at this point is when I start getting those, as I restructure and we work a little differently, that officers are going to be accountable for the areas that they patrol. And if that's an issue in the beat that they patrol, then they're going to have to address that issue. But I need the citizens who live there, who shop there, who work there, and play there, right? Community policing, that they should know their what?
Safe.
Who said it over here? Door prize, they should know their officers. Exactly. Yes, ma'am.
My question is if you want us to get to know the precinct and the sergeants, why are they being transferred so often?
Well, I'll tell you, that's a very good point. She said, if you want us to get to know the precinct and the sergeants and the officers, why are they being transferred so often? I don't know that they have been transferred so often. I know that I'm here two and a half months, and we're going to do some transfers, and I'll tell you why. I have a young department, and I have some of my senior officers that are retiring. Some officers leave, but I have some that are retiring. And what I'm finding is we're starting to take detectives and and just move them in that realm. So now when they leave, I'm taking sergeants who don't have investigative experience, and I'm putting them in a situation cold, right? So one of the things I believe that I have a duty, I should not have one community resource officer in the precinct. I should have 85 community resource officers in the precinct. Community policing is good that you know your officer, but it's also good that I have a community policing relationship with the Newport News Police Department. I can share information because officers are going to move, they are going to get promoted, they are going to transfer, and they have there's also a bid process here. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it, but from what I understand, the officers seem to like it, that if I work evening shift or midnight shift in one precinct, and now my seniority allows me to go to day shift and be more with my family, that we allow them to happen. But I might not have a day shift opening in that precinct, so they might have to move. So it's not just, they're not being transferred because I got nothing else to do, right? I'm building the structure of the organization, longevity, and also officer health and well-being for where they like to go.
But these are sergeants in the precinct, and most of them do not want to be with cops.
I understand, but all that is, I'll tell you this. Everybody's resistant to change. Give it about 2 weeks, watch what happens. And sometimes, when you make change, you get new energy, different ideas, different motives, right? If I take some of my experienced officers that work in one part of the city, and I put them in another part of the city, they bring some of that they've learned. It's the same reason we send officers out to different training across the country. They bring back what other departments are doing. I would be wrong. It would be wrong of me. And I don't think you'll find any department that says, you're going to be in this beat, this sector for 25 years. That's not good policing. I have not developed that officer at all. I haven't trained him to do anything different. And he's at a disadvantage when he now wants to become a narcotic detective. And I said, what have you done in your career? I've worked day shift in the north. Do you know how to write a search warrant? No, I never learned that. It's not a big issue where I work. I know how to do community policing. I know how to do a lot of traffic stops. I haven't developed it. I do a disservice to that officer in the long run, and I do a disservice to the community we serve. So I understand that when they see change, a lot of people I know, there's a story of an officer that works midnight shift. We put him on day shift before me, but he's on day shift, and he was very reluctant. He didn't want to do it. If you talk to him now a month later, he loves it, and it's so thankful. So we try things. We don't always get it right, but I've got to keep the momentum. I can't have something be stagnant. Yes, ma'am.
How many offices do you have, and are you fully staffed? Or are you going to, in the future, maybe even hire more officers? What do you need?
So, we're authorized 450 officers in the city. I have to count it. I have a class of 25 recruits. I think we lost one, so there's 24, but 25 recruits. I'm down probably 15 officers on the street. Retirements, maybe 20. But when you look at it, if you're down 20 and the 25, that's 45, right? So one thing we can do is we restructure on how we're deploying some of our resources. Do some things differently. But the city has very good policy. My last agency, if I told you the academy starts in January and it's October in Richmond, I would call you 2 weeks before January and get you ready to come in. Well, in 2.5 months, the way the job markets are right now, you've went to work in Hanover, or Chesterfield, or in Rikers. Newport News is very blessed. We have the ability, city manager has given us the ability, that if I have a captain starting in January and I have an applicant in October, I can hire them today. I bring them on, they do some different things, so they get used to different stuff in the department, and then in January, I move them right into the academy. I think the recruiting, Captain Bradley sitting over your left shoulder, he has been doing recruiting for a while. He does a phenomenal job. He's really turned it around. We run 2 academies a year. One graduates, the next one starts. And we just keep it going. I feel very good at the recruiting efforts. One thing I wanted to say before what I asked for more officers, it's a very good question. As the city grows, and I believe that there are good things happening in Newport News, I think that more people are moving into the city. I think the city is going to grow. But as the city grows and more community events happen, we have to staff those events. We talk about the marathon, we talk about Holly Dazzle, all the different things that bring people in, bring business in, and bring in revenue. If I continue to have to staff those, and we should, I want people to be safe here, right? But when I staff those, I'm having officers work a lot of overtime. I'm having them work these different events. That might be an opportunity when I come back and say, I spent this much money in overtime this year covering those events. If I got 7 more officers, I might be able to offset that cost, so it'll be more cost effective, and we look at it that way. But that's, I can tell you, I feel very comfortable. I can sit down with any 3 that are here tonight, the city manager, and have that discussion. I think they'd be very open that we look at those things. So it just, have I asked for more officers at this point? No. Because they would be right to come back and say, are you hiring, do you have 450? We've allowed you to have 450. You don't have 450 yet. We can take you up to 500, but you're not even getting 450. I got to get up to full strength. And I'll tell you, right, young generation, young people, they move around a lot. People want instant gratification. Some officers leave and go to another department. Some leave and go to the shipyard. Nobody told me there was a whole other city over there in that shipyard. Well, there are 25,000 some people working over there. But some people leave and go to the shipyard. Some come back. Some do different things. Some go to other departments. Some other departments come here. But it's when I started, and Stu and a lot of these young officers right back here in the back, right? When we started, this is our career. We're going to do 25 years. Some officers start, and I'm going to do this for 2 or 3 years and see what else is out there. But I probably would not go and ask for more officers until I can hire and keep what I have. They will allow me to have. I just think that's fair.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. That was a great question.
Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. Is there any coverage you can give us against the fear of retaliation if you turn a drug dealer in practically your house?
Yes.
I mean, all of a sudden, police are going to come. He's going to know where I live, and I'm afraid.
Right. I think that's a very good question, and we get asked it a lot. There's a lot of perception that when you call us, that we're going to walk up, knock on your door, maybe even put a banner on your door and say, "This is the individual that called us." I'm not sure it would bother you. I'm just saying. I'm good. It's okay. But and I like that. I like. But so what would happen is that doesn't happen, right? We don't go and knock on the door. We don't make any. I don't need to even know who you are. All I need is a phone call that says, "Hey, this address, 1210 Hilton Street. There's a black car, and I see him taking guns out of the trunk. I don't know what's going on. How about this one? No remarks, please. There's a black car, and they're taking a bunch of bow and arrows out of the back. I don't know. I would rather come investigate that and see what's going on, as opposed to you not calling me. And just like this morning, right? Just like whatever date, we had to respond to something much worse. But nobody's going to call. I'm not asking you to come to court. Just tell me what the house is. Tell me the hotel room where the prostitutes are going in and out of. Tell me what vehicle is driving up and down the street. Tell me what the uniform or the outfit that the boy or girl is wearing is dealing or whatever the issue is. But we're not going to come. As a matter of fact, I wish I had somebody from communications. Eric's here. I think they ask you in communications, would you like to see an officer? And would you like to call back? You get to make that, yes, I would, or no, you don't. If you want to, we're not going to go to your house. And they put that right over the message. So, retaliation. One of the things I want to see, and we're going to talk about in our meetings, is when we have a shooting, I want to know the victimology of our victim. I want to know about our victim. I want to know of our suspect. I want to know the neighborhood. And I want our analysts. We have crime analysts in each division. and I want to know, is there any issue with retaliation? Is there a neighborhood that they might retaliate against? So neighborhood X is beefing with neighborhood Y. There's a shooting in neighborhood Y. Yes, chief. There are some individuals in neighborhood Y who might go and cause some problems in neighborhood X. So I'm going to have this captain have information, and his officers know that there may be some retaliation issues, that I need to make sure I've got a good presence in this area, right? That I may need to take my canine officers and move them to this area. That I may need to do some extra enforcement in this area until things calm down. But I'm not going to put you at risk. That'd be the best way to do it. I'm not going to have officers come to your door. Listen. We're going to take about 2 more questions. I don't want to hold us past 8. Pastor has been very, but I really thank you guys for sticking around. This is a good meeting. Yes, ma'am.
I'm Patricia Hartman, and I work with families and children. I'd like to make a few observations or share a few of my thoughts. One is thank you for what you have started. I've already seen that you're making a positive impact. I've been a member of a group of two of the crime groups, and so I come in contact with police officers. Everything that I have heard throughout the city about you has been very positive.
I'm paying a lot of money for this.
I'm talking about from people who work in your department.
Yes, ma'am.
It's positive. We seem to have 2 problems, and I don't know that they're necessarily police problems, but one is isolationism. Neighbors not knowing neighbors. Now you started one positive thing in a hot spot up in Denby, walking throughout the community with other people,
yeah.
And I understand neighbors did come out.
20 neighbors came out.
And that is a positive.
Wow.
20 neighbors in that neighborhood is fantastic. So that is the positive. Another problem we have is that parents are not setting good examples for their children, meaning that I had, about a week or 2 ago, I was talking to a counselor who is in charge of kindergarten and early childhood, one being mandated and one being non-mandated in the east end of our city. And one of her largest problems is the kids don't come to school, particularly on Mondays and Fridays. School starts at 7:30. They may roll in at 10, 11, 1 o'clock. So we need to somehow, and I asked her, I said, is there one thing that I might do in my work that would help you? And she said, yes, talk to your parents about setting examples, setting positive examples, being excited about the children's school,
yep.
And going to the school, getting up in the morning and getting them to school, because then that excitement will reverberate.
You know, I'm going to stop you there. It's funny. At our Monday meeting, we look at our top calls for service. And we go around and talk about what they are. And you know what one of the most calls that officers get on day shift here? Will you come get my son or daughter out of bed and make them go to school? I'm telling you that is no lie. Will you come get my son or daughter out of bed and make them go to school? And you know how much time I teach them in the academy how to deal with that? 0. But they're called for that. That's great. Let me say 2 other things. When I talk about city manager, where I may need some help, I was blown away for like 4 weeks now in a row. Does anyone in here know the top call for service in each precinct? So you can say across the city for 4 weeks in a row. 4 weeks in a row. Do you know the #1 call for service that officers go on? I always send 2 officers to it. And it usually amounts to nothing. In fact, it's one of the crimes that I told you we have a decrease in. #1 calls for service across the city. That's number 3.
House alarms.
Alarms.
Alarms on house.
And you know what? 99% of the time, there's nothing wrong. Now, we have an ordinance, I think, where if you have an alarm go off and it's nothing, the 3rd offense, there's some fine to it, right? I'm not sure we're enforcing that. And I'm spending a lot of time. I believe, Joe or Eric, I think it's about 150 calls a week in each precinct that I'm sending officers to. 150 calls per week, usually in the evening, which might also be my high crime areas, times. That's what, 1, 2, 3, 450 calls a week that are dealing with alarms. We're sending 2 officers to those calls, and 99% will call the owner. Sometimes they trip it. Now, let me say this. On my side, some of that is city buildings, right? We got to take care of our stuff first. But all I'm saying is we're spending a lot of time on burglar alarms. There's nothing to it. Last thing I want to say, you talked about the stuff that I'm doing. I have a tremendous force behind me. I am very blessed in this city. I firmly believe that the more interaction we do, the more interaction we have with kids, the more things that we do together makes a difference. I believe that. And I will tell you this, the successes we have in this city are because of 449 officers that do it day in and day out. We're not reducing crime. But we set goals and we don't reach them. If I don't get us to where I want us to be, if I don't restructure and reorganize this organization, that's on me. The good work that we do, every bit of credit should go to the men and women that work in this department.
Another positive that I would like to bring out is that community policing started a couple of years ago, or several years ago, and it's being continued and developed more with, I understand, plans for doubling the SROs, which are the officers who are in the schools, having them out on the street in the summertime. Our police department does a whole lot of activities with youth. It's just that the news doesn't publicize it. That's been a problem of getting the message out. They don't get the positives that I feel like they deserve, that they really have worked for, and I've seen this over a number of years, and I know it's going to develop further with you as chief. But we also need to help. We have a big problem in our school system with so many of our schools not meeting accreditation standards, and
don't go too far down that line.
we've got places there that are not really police problems,
Right.
but it comes into play with what you do, because we have to start young.
You're right.
And we've got to do a better job there as well. But I thank you for what you're doing.
I'm going to take one more question. It's not going to be from you who asked 4 or 5 already. No. I'm going to take one more question. It's going to be from Ms. Richardson right here, and then I will be remiss if I didn't ask each councilman to make a closing statement. I will stay around later. If you get after somebody wants to talk, I'm going to take one question, Ms. Richardson. By the way, her son, all these officers, point that you made that are in great locations. Her son does a phenomenal job with every business owner north of Mercury Boulevard knows that he does a phenomenal job. Phenomenal. But I'm going to promote him to sergeant. He's been doing that job a long time. I need other officers to learn to do that. So, I decided to give her son a shot. We'll see what happens. Ms. Richardson.
My name is Carol Richardson, and I grew up in Newport News. I've never lived anywhere else. And you hear lots of stories on the news about bad police officers. And police officers do want and need to be respected, and you want to know who your police officers are. I know that the police department does a lot of activities with the citizens. They also, on a regular basis, in each precinct, they have their coffee with a cop, where you can come and spend an hour with them and ask them questions directly. So if you want to get to know your police officers when there's an activity that the police department is involved with, you need to come out and meet them and not judge all police officers on the bad reports you hear on the news, because one bad apple does not make the whole barrel rot. There are lots of good officers in this city, and they all need to be respected.
But to get no respect today, that's very sad.
It's true.
So before we close out, I don't know about coffee. We tried. We were doing cookies the other day, but I saw them. So I just want to say, as I close, I'm going to ask say thank you. Thank you for taking the time. I feel your passion, I feel your concern, and that's exactly what I need to feel. And I hope you felt some of it. There are some people that are upset and frustrated. They want to, and you know what? That means you want to see change. And we're going to change some things. That's a good thing. I promise you. Just trust me. Trust me. We will change this. We are going to reduce crime in the city. I promise you. Thank you all very much.